You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. So there are so many ways to play nowadays, and they're abusing the Pandora's box name big time. Also, Pandora, games, books, whatsoever, there are all kinds of different formats too. Not only like game systems, but also we have like these dongles that you can pick up and just look at it and play some games with it. Pretty damn cool. But is it actually cool? Let's find out. Alright, so let's talk about this one first. So basically this is the run from the official Pandora's box. We're doing like a quick teardown and everything in this video. But also this thing was pretty damn cool when it looks at just the way how it looks. But what it can do, that is a little bit of a mix. Again, it came with the official software. That was pretty damn awesome. But actually there is not a lot of information on the box itself. So let's open it up and let's see what are we going to get for goodies. So first of all, we're going to get 2 controllers with 1 dongle. Dongle is over here. So they're like the best fake knockoffs I have felt in a very long time. The D-pad feels quite sturdy, so they're more like the better quality. But don't get me wrong, they are not to be compared with PlayStation 2 controllers, but because they are just perfect quality. With this thing, it does smell nice, by the way. Ah, love the smell controllers. Nevertheless, we're having more. We're having here the information about the box itself. If this has like the same specifications that we're going to get with the previous models, we don't know. Simply because when you look at page number 1, you can see normally we're going to get this mainboard inside a dual or a single player arcade machine or a game console, or you just slap some extra control with it. I say this toilet paper deluxe edition got a lot of explanations, so they did a very nice job with that. Okay, so here we're having the cable. I'm guessing, oh, it is a Type-C cable. It's a freaking miracle. We're going to get a very long flat HDMI cable, and here we're having the console itself. Yeah, seriously, that's it. That's it. It looks like a TV box they can buy for a couple of dollars on AliExpress, but it is not similar. I like the design itself. The box is not like a Super Console X or something like that. It's completely unique. Here we can see Pandora's box. They did quite some effort, but damn it. Let's do a quick example with the normal Pandora boxes, because this thing is freaking tiny. So this is a normal Pandora's box size. They're selling these things like game consoles too, because you can just use them like a game console, plugging it into your television. But look at this very small box. I just wanted to do a quick comparison. And I must say, I do like it what they're doing over there, because when you just want to have like this tiny box, yeah, you can maybe use some double-sided tape, put it on the back of your television. You can use it. It almost weighs nothing. So man, these things are getting really small now. Okay, so this box, it's a very unique design, and so far I know there is no other one. They didn't like rip off some Android box and just slap and stick ROM that they're doing very often nowadays. So at the left side we're going to get 2 USB ports. I'm guessing this is more like 2.0, very old tech. And at the back we're going to get a Type-C connection for giving this thing some juice, an audio jack out with an HDMI out, and we're having another extra USB port. So at the bottom we're going to get the rubber feet, so if you have like a smooth surface it will not slide away. Model number GB0X002. Input 5V 2A. But the weird thing is, I have no power supply. Where is that freaking thing? I just grabbed one from my mobile phone, or my phone here. I have one. They're cheap to buy here with the action. Alright guys, so let's take a close look at the PCB. So it's a Rockchip 3126 model, I already mentioned before. It is a quad-core Cortex A7 that runs a maximum 1.3 GHz. The Mali on it 400 MP2 GPU. It has in total 2 GB of DDR3 memory. This I'm googling, and so far I know it's 2 GB. Has an output of 1080p maximum. Then we're having like this thing, the chip itself is from 2014, the 4th quarter. Nevertheless, this thing is freaking old. So yeah, it has been produced by the Xinjiang factory, or it's more like the manufacturer of the chipset. I think I completely destroyed his name, but it's pretty hard to pronounce this. But it is more like the Mini S model. So yeah, I'm guessing they're using this PCB in different devices. Okay, so I slapped the case back together, booted up the system, and the controller already works like a charm. Plug and play, you don't need any configuration. So that's what always is very convenient with these Pandora's boxes. But for the people new to the Pandora Box DX, let's do a quick overview. What are we going to get? Okay, so to begin with the search function, everything they can do with it's pretty cool. When you're pressing start in the main menu, you're basically going to get this action menu. And the reason I wanted to show you because this is not very common with Pandora's box, especially the later ones. Search options recently played, but the category system is always a little bit messy simply because they just mess it up by putting games on a certain platform that doesn't make any sense. Pressing start, we're going back and we're going to get different games. Take consideration that, let's say, some of these games, like they're just PlayStation 1 games, they're still messing it up. I think they started with this like PlayStation stuff with Pandora's Box 6. I think it was a year ago and they still didn't fix a lot of issues. They added like a 3D nice decal, but it's more like you're going to get only PlayStation games so far, I know. Okay, normally we're going to get a small button at the back of the Pandora's box. Now we need a very small screwdriver to press the button that is basically underneath here. And here we're going to get the settings menu. You don't really need it a lot, but it's convenient if you want to, let's say, put some different button configurations. Okay, we're going to get the EO tester. This is mostly when you're having this device inside an arcade machine. And yeah, you can put it in because you can use encoder boards. Nevertheless, it's just not needed with this. It's just custom software they are using. And let's take a close look at the menu. There's nothing like a special thing that we go get with. I'm not talking about the quality optimization, but like scan lines on and off, or you can change out the aspect ratio. That is still something they didn't fix. And I think they'll never do this. But then overall, it's more of the same if you ask me. Game settings, we having like you can set different difficulties or lives in certain games. So that are things that we're going to get. Built-in speakers, not necessary because this is not the normal Pandora's box. We can switch off the intro boot, that Pandora box annoying sound. So over here, nothing has changed, especially when you're looking at the previous models. Ooh, it runs a little bit choppy, what you can see over here. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so let's see how PlayStation 1 runs.
Round one, fight!
Like this weird stuff like Pandora game dongle. So you're thinking, hey, this may be like the Pandora's box only in the dongle. Yeah, it actually is, but this is running on some old, like say, specs like always. It's a dongle, it's a little bit bigger than a normal, like regular dongle. I'm going to talk about what I think of it, like what are like the pros and the cons of that. But again, like we had so many cool things. And yeah, again, you can plug it in and play a lot of games. Okay guys, so this is what you're going to get inside the package itself. Let's talk about the GB330 instruction manual. Ooh, we're going to get the deluxe toilet paper manual, because this thing is actually a manual, because the previous one you're just going to get a piece of toilet paper, but they did quite some effort putting this together, so give them extra kudos for this. We're going to get the extension cable HDMI, and the reason why is very simple. That brings us to the plug and play stick. This one looks quite nice, more like transparent or translucent. It looks nice, and it only having one USB port at the back. That's a little bit of a bummer, because if you want to use multiple controllers, or you don't want to use the single dongle with the two controllers, there's going to be an issue. You can remove the SD card and add some new games if you want to, but most of these things are too wide, so it will not fit in your monitor, or it will cover up an HDMI port. So this is just a common problem, but let's check that out a little bit later. A micro USB cable. This is basically for the power, because you need to have some extra juice. It comes with one dongle and it comes with two controllers. So the controllers are more like the better quality versions that I have seen. Most of the time when you're going to get more like the plug and play device with 30 bucks, you're going to give us the chemical version. This one doesn't smell chemical at all. On and off switch. Feels not bad. It's not comparable with original controllers, but I think it can give us a decent gameplay experience. But okay, so let's take a close look at this device. Let's plug it in, and not to forget, let's grab some batteries. So a quick demonstration, if you want to plug it in, it's not even possible with my version because my port is a little bit too deep, and as you can see that it's too wide. Nevertheless, it's just going to be a nightmare. So let's grab ourselves the extension cable and let's connect it. I'm also going to use the USB cable over here inside my USB port on the television because it will give me some juice. Take consideration that doesn't work with every television. Sometimes you just need to have yourself a phone charger, like a 5-volt phone charger. That's it. Okay, so the stick itself, what I like about these sticks, they can plug it in your HDMI port and you're just done with all the wiring. But with the extension cables, it's just a freaking nightmare, man. So maybe with some double-sided tape, you can stick it on your monitor. So when you're turning it on, it will automatically boot up. So that is just a really cool, convenient thing. But what's the point of a stick if you can't stick it in? Okay, so I'm booted up. This is the menu where you're going to get, and it looks very similar than the Pandora box menu. Only there are some differences. To begin with, the preview is not really a preview. Sometimes we're having some movie pictures like this. Makes no sense. You do have the option when you're pressing L and R button to go to the class or different kind of software there you can play on it, like PlayStation 1, Super Famicom, Mega Drive, the Game Boys, Famicom MAME and Atari. History. The collection is more like the favorites, and we're having the search option. But there is only one thing I have noticed with my previous reviews regarding similar products, that when you're pressing a button, sometimes it takes forever to load a list, and that's a little bit of a bummer. So the menu is really choppy. Look at this, it's still loading. And when pressing select in the main menu, you're going to get into the settings. So here we're having the language, key tune. Let's make it more annoying than it already is. Oh yeah. So here having the, yep, it's saved. View local files, basically you can browse through the SD card, don't mess around with it, otherwise you will mess up the SD card. Never do this, and the reason why, if you do this, is highly possible that you're going to mess it up. Sometimes it doesn't do anything besides basically setting everything like the settings back to the original state, but sometimes it can format your card. So be careful with it. Okay, so that's it. There's no aspect ratio, nothing really great to see here. So let's play some games and let's see how they are running. So the first thing that I'm noticing is that the sound is not really loud. And another good thing. Oh. Oh. If you want to go back to the main menu, press start and select. Basically what you can do is just use the resume. Of course, if you want to resume the game, restart. You can save the game on different save slots. Save load, quick save, and even if you're having some problems, you want to reconfigure the controls, you can do it through the control menu. Or just go out of the game and go back to the menu. And to give you an idea how loud it is from my television, I put it at 100%, so I don't know what's going on with this thing, but the D-pad on this controller is freaking awful. Can't get any moves out, and it's freaking not responsive. GBA games seem to be running fine. Ooh, I did hear a small hiccup in the sound effects. Like, it is not like really a dongle, but it's also like a game system. But there is a thing that I need to point out in this video. The Pandora OS, I am not a big fan of this software because it did have a lot of problems. But it did come with some pretty damn cool controls, by the way. It's always like fun to do an unboxing with you guys. So it comes in a very nice packaging. Here you can see like they're using very good styrofoam. So this basically the console itself. I must say it weighs quite heavy. Like, yeah, it's kind of weird to call it a dongle because a dongle you plug it in your television. This is nothing like a dongle, it's just a game system. But it comes in this very nice metal casing. We do have a Type-C connection over here, the slot for the SD card, HDMI out. I'm guessing this is the setting button, but we're going to take a closer look at later, and 2 USB ports. So the design itself is quite interesting. Of course, we do get ourselves the toilet paper manual. Like, it's very poorly printed. I know, like, they're using the toilet paper like always. Like, there's even no English so far you can see. So we're going to get the wireless version, and not to forget, let's do the smelly test. Ah, they are chemical as it can be. But when it comes to these controllers, it's always like a mixed, or a hit or miss, because yeah, this is like the okay quality. Everything feels okay, so these are like more expensive versions. But they're also giving us like the freaking PlayStation controller. HDMI cable, there we go to get the USB to Type-C. 2 separate dongles, because we do have 2 controllers. Sometimes we do have the option to buy like a kit that would have like 1 freaking dongle with 2 controllers. And the most positive thing about that is, if you want to have like a system like this, you want to play with 4 players, you can hook it up like this. But yeah, of course we can always use a USB hub. Alright, so I was connecting the device itself and I realized something. Yeah, so okay, it's great that you're going to give ourselves like a very nice long USB cable, but there is no freaking 5-volt adapter. That doesn't come with it, so there's something you need to buy separately. Take that consideration. I would not like to use this thing on your television, because most of the times this thing, you need to take, let's say, like a lot of amps to basically get this thing powered on. So I would not get enough amps from your television. Nevertheless, I would not even try to do that. So I'm not going to use this original cable because it's crap. I'm going to get myself the original one that I'm having with my television. Let's get myself some batteries, because these things work on 2 AAA batteries. Yep, some old school shizzle. Let's plug in the dongle and let's figure out which dongle I need to have. One of these I need to be working. And let's see what this thing is all about. So when you're plugging in the device itself, it will boot up automatically. So that's kind of bummer in my opinion. There is again no on and off switch. There is something like with these Chinese products and on and off switches. And most of the time you cannot find them with an on and off switch. Okay, so it seems to be like having the dongle that needs to be working with this controller. So you can see like the LED goes on green, so we're ready to go. So let's go. So when powering on, this is the menu where you're going to get. It's very similar to the Pandora Box 5 and number 6. If you're a regular viewer to the channel, you maybe already noticed that the Pandora Games OS is something we already have seen before. Yeah, so they are slapping these things in different boxes. At the right bottom corner, you can see they even do have like a 4-player configuration option. And when you're looking through the games, you will find sometimes 4-player options in here. But you also have like a category system. At the left, you can see over here, we do have like different like icons. So there's something we have seen with the Pandora Box 5, especially the Pandora Box 6. Sorry, having brain fart there. Pressing start brings us to the main menu. With this menu you have the option to select a category and even search for your games. So here we have like the 3 and 4 play option. So if you choose this, we do have the option to check out which games have the support for 3 or 4 players. So yeah, again, like it's going to be a little bit of a hassle because you need to get yourself some separate controllers or at least a USB hub. We only have 2 USB ports on the device itself. I already told you about the tiny button. I will show you when you press the button itself. You can see you go into the settings menu. And this is nothing really fancy. It's just a typical, let's say, your Pandora's box menu. Here we can go to the game settings. With the game settings you can change out some information or some stuff with the difficulty lies, edit game list, stuff like that. Nothing really interesting if you ask me. So here we also have the system configuration. That would be like the most interesting part. But the downside to this is that we're only having the enhanced image quality. You can just kind of wait like open, close or on and off. And what you're going to get with this is very simple. You're just going to get yourself the option, yeah, to like have this filter removed from your game so everything looks so pixelated like it should be. Or I think it should be. But there's no aspect ratio. Sorry guys, still they didn't change it. Okay, so let's begin with the UGU. And the downside to this is like, you can already hear it. Everything is on turbo mode. So a little bit of bummer about this Pandora Games OS bullshit is like, not all of the games will run perfectly. Like, look at this. It is Breaker's Turbo mode. The first thing I'm noticing, like the D-pad is absolutely amazing on this controller. So for once they did not match it up with that. It's a different way to play, but it's not like it should be. So like what some of the Pandora's boxes, we do have the option to having quick load and quick save. So that's pretty damn cool. Okay, so next up I wanted to try out Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the PlayStation 1. And the reason why, because in the first edition they added PlayStation 1 support, they had the issue with no sound. So let's see if they still have this issue. Yeah, so this is just a problem when it comes to the file size or the way they basically like ripped the game to an ISO file. But a little bit of a bummer because this is an issue where I've seen before, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but this thing has like also a shitload of screen tearing. But let's boot up the game. Wouldn't be surprised that the game runs just fine, but without any background music. Loading times are almost the same like the original. But again, it's a bummer that they just messed it up like that. So easy to add music to it, but they don't really bother. Okay, so a new addition to this system, or better said, game system, is that we can play some 8-bit, but you know what, I don't want to keep bitching on this thing, but you can see like even here the lights are absolutely messed up. Wow. Are we going to get at least a decent gameplay? Nope, absolutely unplayable. Yeah, this is more like the same stuff that I've seen many times before, quite depressing sometimes. But then again, I want to like check them out here on the channels and just see like what can we basically like get. Is this thing worth picking up? Because that's my mission, to find the shitty products, and so you don't need to buy them yourself. Nevertheless, also here we're going to do a quick teardown and stuff like that, because I'm curious about what are we going to get and which one is the best one. And let's see how it packed up. So they did an amazing job, very nice styrofoam, and yep, indeed they sent me red one, and whoa, this thing feels quite heavy. Then we have HDMI cable. Let's see what we're going to get here. We're going to get a plug. Take consideration they sell like different kits, so buy one for your region, otherwise you're going to get the different or the wrong plug. And of course the all famous PlayStation controllers. They don't smell very chemical. Oh, ooh, this one feels very nice. And how I feel that is quite simple. So when you basically moving your thumb around this, so like this, the buttons, you can feel like it's got a very nice press. The cheap ones got a very clickish and a way to, like say, long travel. So also the analog stick feel very nice. It's not like the PlayStation 2, especially with these, you can feel like the back buttons. But overall, not bad at all. And why do I get a freaking manual of a Pandora's box? Yeah, okay. Man, that is quite lazy, to be honest. Is there even like, there's not even some freaking English. No, that's it. They give me a freaking wrong manual. So the Friends box, this thing is something else, I can tell you that. So the first thing I'm noticing, it feels quite heavy, and you can see underneath there is some metal shining. So I'm curious if this thing have a big cooling or passive cooling. Already like attached to two dongles with. Is there an AB? No, there's just two Bs, so I need to figure out which controllers for what. And let's see, they added, and I think like these brands you find very often, an Lexar. So I understand Lexar is not like a very bad brand in China. I'm just not really familiar with it. Oh crap, oh crap. See, another problem that you're sticking the card in wrong, and it does fall through the box. So there's something you need to be careful with. So over here we're going to get an on and off switch. It's freaking unbelievable. I'm not thinking they were listening to my videos. Then we do like the input for the power. We have an HDMI and an audio out, an optical out, and the RG45 Ethernet connection. So that's basically what we're going to get. There are some differences with the Super Console X. If you want to see in comparison, I can do that in the future. Let me know in the comments. But for now, let's hook it up and let's see what we're going to get. Alright, so that is quite interesting. It does have the same boot up sequence like the Pandora box or Pandora game 3D. Alright guys, so basically what you're going to get is the same stuff that I've seen before with the previous Pandora's boxes. They're using the same kind of layout. Over here we're going to get the preview, the name of the box, some basic explanation how it works, and of course the game list itself. Pressing, oh that's different, pressing the start button you can go up to the start or the search function, but basically you can navigate through categories, recent played, and then we have the search option. And the search option normally seems to be working just fine with this. So it's loading up all of the files, so it takes some time. and it will give a delay. Alright, so here we do have like in the Mortal Kombat games that we wanted to try out, especially the meme, just to see how that runs on this box to benchmark. But for now, let's take a close look at the settings. Alright, so let's start up with PlayStation Portable. So this is basically the latest system. The Pandora boxes in general also can handle, you know. You will see a lot of issues like the weird vibrating feed or any other issues like framed up. Most of these systems have been set to 1 times frame skipping, otherwise these games won't run at all. There's some kind of playable, but so this is basically what we're going to get with this, and also the same for the Pandora's boxes. But you can just hear that it stutters. Here you can see like the freaking feet are going to be like shaking. You know, remember that it said like you have a quick load, quick save option? It's a lie, because it's still got the same issue like the Pandora's boxes. Some systems don't have this option. So all of these things will have positive and negative sides. Also depends what you really like to play on it. But if I need to be honest, and there was actually one product that I personally really liked.